And it's a great feeling to be back again with you on the show. This is Close Flow coming to you from NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Our delight all the time, knowing that you are there, just patiently waiting to know who this distinguished Nigerian we're going to be unveiling again on this show. We like to say proudly that yes, on NTA2 Lagos Network Center, the Close Flow goes all the way to see if we can highlight how Nigeria can become one of the greatest nations on the face of the earth, and how all of us, we are all stakeholders in how that dream can be achieved. So that's what we're going to be looking at again today with our guests. Incidentally, we are almost home because we are going to be, as it were, beaching very close to where this industry operates. If you know what I'm saying, Nollywood actually can be said to be rooted in NTA. Over 60% of current Nollywood, or even historical Nollywood, came through NTA. And so our guest today, incidentally, also will be looking at what he is doing or what he has done in that sector, and now what he's into. Let's leave Nollywood. Let's now come to also another national asset where Nigerians are saying to themselves, we can do much better. All over Africa, that particular asset has become a national sing-song. But for Nigeria, we are not yet there. We are still not reaching the very top of that industry. And that's talking about tourism. And now, how can I be talking about tourism when we know that the pandemic has placed so much restriction, not only on travels, but even on social distancing? That is the reason why we are looking at this. So, what are the dangers? What are the fears? What are the prospects? What are the new normals that we're going to be dealing with? And so we have with us a very distinguished Nigerian, a thespian, a fantastic movie maker, who is going to be talking about tourism, and we'll be zooming this conversation. We are going all the way to, well, the historical city that used to be the first capital city of this nation, Nigeria. Stay with us. I will tell you shortly.
Hey beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight.
Now reading page 3.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
Thank you for staying with us. Yes, this is Close Flow, and like I was trying to give you a tip of the iceberg, what we're going to be looking at today. Incidentally, our guest has to his record over 45 movies. Yes. Over 45 movies. He penned over 45 movies, but he did his studies, theater arts from University of Calabar, back some years, and then when he was going to now start his movie making, Bachelor of Arts, he decided to do a movie on bachelors. Okay, so we're looking at what that means as we look at tourism today in the face of the pandemic. And so we bring to you our guest for today, Eric Iso Anderson. I call him ISO. Eric, welcome to Close Flow.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Yes, let's say good morning to the whole of Nigeria. Yes, for joining us on this show. So you are talking to the whole federation, as it were. So let's throw it back. Let's go back to Nollywood. Why did you decide to leave us here in Lagos and you ran away? Why did you do that? Because I should be asking you publicly so everybody would know.
Over the years, I've always been of the opinion that we should decentralize, right? I thought that Nollywood can as well move to Calabar, it can move to any other state, apart from one. So I decided to go back home to support the industry in Cross River State.
Beautiful. I must say that that's a good homecoming for you. Maybe we need to do a collab with our American brother to see if we can do a Nigerian version of homecoming. But now let's come to what you are doing right now, and that's tourism. So, Eric, are you not a little bit worried? Are you not a little bit perturbed at how we are going to position tourism in Nigeria in the face of the pandemic?
Well, I'm bothered. I'm worried. We are all worried. It's a global pandemic. It has hit everybody, the hospitality sector as well. Last year, nothing absolutely happened. All of the big events in the country were all, called off, especially the Carnival Calabar. Just when everybody thought that we were going to be in Calabar in December 2020, we just had to call it off because of the pandemic. And here we are, so depending on how to go about certain things. And we in the sector are also trying to work around that protocol to see how best we can just keep running up until when we are sure that we are free from the pandemic.
Great. Now, cumulatively, you spent about 6 years with the government of Cross River State trying to position tourism in that state. Now, can you give us a quick profile of how either we can create nationwide collaboration or international collaboration on promoting or positioning tourism assets in spite of the pandemic? Can you give us a profile of how that can happen?
Okay, first of all, I'm Commissioner for Ministry of Culture and Tourism Development. Many thanks to my Governor, Senator Professor Ben Ayade, who created the ministry. We never had the Ministry of Culture and Tourism in Cross River.
Beautiful.
The Governor created that ministry in 2015. And my core mandate, of course, is to coordinate the cluster. We have the Carnival Commission, we have the Tourism Bureau, we have the Events Department and all. So in the last couple of years, we've been able to coordinate and see how we can come up with, better carnivals. In the last years, you see that our carnivals are more intellectual. Our tour sites and all of that, we've been cleaning up, always ready for, for visitors. But then, between last year and now, we've been hit with the pandemic, and not only in Cross River, of course, nationwide. And we have the traffic now to our state and everywhere, all our locations have reduced so much. So a lot of people now have resorted to virtual events, just like Miss Africa. We held Miss Africa last year, December. It was done virtually, just a few people, so that we can continually maintain the distance, the social distancing and all of that. Now, if we're able to run by the protocols, if we're sincere to ourselves that we can run by the protocols, after all, protocols have been set, churches are operating, people are maintaining social distancing. The presidency has actually said, look, if you must come out, you must have your nose mask. We can still run by that. We can still encourage tourists, look, as you're coming in, follow the protocols. And also, we in the hospitality sector, we should be able to instill that discipline in the hotels, water to wash the hands, sanitizers, right? And see to that protocol. I still, I'm bent on going by the protocol. And I'm sure with this, our events will start coming up. Already we're thinking of Carnival 2021, and we're working hard on how to process people to make sure that we don't go against the protocol. So we're looking up, things are looking up. We're hoping, we're very positive that this year, it will ease up so much that we'll be back in full. Okay,
Eric, I must again commend you for your proactiveness, which also has always been a part of your script, prowess. Now, let me just ask this. So how can we, capture the possibility? Because there are life-changing convergences that we're going to be witnessing between technology, between entertainment, and the way we actually socialize and interact. So how do you see us? You have mentioned something like that. But going forward, how do we now begin to look at how such convergences can help us to harness our tourism assets?
Okay, well, just as I've said, a lot of things are done virtually. Look, here we are, I'm in Abuja, and I'm on your program, right? So there are other ways that in the sector, with collaborations, and all of that, this can happen. Now, even when schools were out, were shut down. Students were able to attend classes, to write exams, and all of that. These are models that, if introduced to the tourism sector, it will still drive the tourism sector. And of course, by that, we will still raise the desired revenue that it needs. It's also a position of the federal government giving support to the sector. We need support in the sector. We need to collaborate, just as I said, like ministries of culture and tourism collaborating with ministries of education. I remember back then, students used to go for excursion, back then in school when we were little. But I don't seem to see or hear of such. If we have proper collaborations, not only having the students physically at those locations, but of course with technology we can still pass the message to them so that we can educate them. A lot of people don't seem to even know locations around them in their state. So we can use these platforms and all of that with technology to still pass the message and still sustain tourism.
Again, I must say that is quite brilliant, but I don't give you pass mark all the time before my friends will think that I'm a little bit biased. Now, let's see. Let's be fair this time, and let's be frank again, the way you have been so far. Emerging economies like Nigeria are finding it almost impossible, to convert the traction between creative cultures, which are natural assets, that we all have, and then governance. For us to now, you have said something about how we can actually educate our children appropriately. So, social engineering, why are we not using tourism assets, natural assets, to educate ourselves, to re-educate our nation?
Well, I think it also has to do with the culture of the people, right? We must first of all be interested in it. As I usually preach patriotism, right? And we need to be interested in it. We need to want to know, right? We have this infrastructure in locations. It's everywhere. Like, for instance, in Cross River State, we have the Mary Slessor House, and we know the story of Mary Slessor House. We know that we have a lot of twin kids and adults everywhere. But so we have to be conscious about the infrastructure, but we need to consciously approach it. We need to talk to ourselves and say, look, we need to learn, we need to let this knowledge be passed down. We attend, for instance, NAFEST at Jos, and NAFEST has to do with adults, you come in different categories, but good thinking that categories for children were also created. This is what we need to consciously encourage, that the kids also have to be part of what we're doing, be it culture, be it the tourism education, so that as we are fizzling away, we know that knowledge has been transferred. So yes, we have those heritage sites, the infrastructure, we need to be conscious about it.
Okay, now that you have mentioned that again, I will need to now quickly call up the fact that even the United Nations recognize that in Nigeria we have a lot of heritage sites, and they have marked them out or mapped them out. But are we also doing that locally? Are we mapping out our tourism assets across the country?
Well, yes, in Cross River, yes, we have those tourism assets that we map out. Just as I mentioned, Mary Slessor House, we have the first court room there in Calabar, the first Presbyterian church, the first Catholic church where Mass was held first in Nigeria. And of course, Calabar also is known for a lot of firsts. Even the first Aso Rock still lies there in Calabar, which is the museum. Calabar was the first capital of Nigeria. So yes, in Cross River, we're sure, yes, we have mapped all of those out.
Okay, now let's come back to the new normal. So, countries rich in traditional knowledge, like Nigeria, for instance, is it possible for us to now begin to promote maybe medical tourism by saying to people that you can actually boost your immune or your natural immunity if you can come around here to to feed on some of the things that we eat? Do you think that is a good thing to position?
Sorry, come again on that.
I'm saying that traditional knowledge, we have traditional knowledge in maybe herbal formations. We have local treatments that we can use to build natural immunity. Do you think we can sell that as medical tourism?
Well, yes, with the right process, medically, we're in entertainment. All we do is to amplify whatever it is out there, so that more people can key into it and have knowledge about it. So if the process is done properly, and we're sure, yes, through our movies, through our interviews, through our day-to-day activities in the sector, yes, we can do so.
Now, what you have just said here, Eric, if I may paraphrase you, is almost like saying that have we generated enough political goodwill that can actually fast-track development of our tourism? Is that what you're saying here now?
Absolutely.
Okay, now, so let's take it to the next step. We are going to be borrowing your brain now because you are on ground there in Cross River State. So, and you have mentioned some of the things that you are doing there. Now, I'm saying that, is it possible for us, therefore, can you, from your own experience, hazard a guess and tell us that, okay, if we want to reposition our tourism opportunities in Nigeria, these are the things we need to do? Can you give us like a timeline of what we need to do?
And what we need to do, first of all, we need to clean up. First of all, we need to be patriotic. I say this over and over again. We need to be patriotic. You don't get to go to Dubai every time. Try and travel to Jos. Try and travel to Calabar. Go to Lagos. Go to locations. There are a lot of there's this new tourism site here in Abuja. So we need to be patriotic first of all. Now, when we are all patriotic all together, we can now start the process of cleaning up. The problem we have is where people, take this business as if they don't care. Yeah, you are a commissioner, you are an advisor, you are in the sector, through the government, and you're not passionate about what you're doing. Some people, they talk, say, now your papa work. But the truth is, yes, now your papa work, because you have a responsibility in your hands, right? So it's tenure for us, and another 2 years, we're done with the government. Nobody knows what will happen to politicians moving on. So most of us may be brought back because of what we're able to achieve. So we need to, first of all, clean up what we have. We have so much. In Cross River alone, every local government, every of the 18 local government has at least something you can see or something you can experience. From the Budu Ranch Resort, Monolith, Marislesa House, the Marina Resort, even our cultural event. We have the North Fest in the Northern Senatorial District. We have the Tomobong, homage to the Obong, the king of the Efik kingdom. We have the Leboku, we've been able to sustain over the years. So we need to be conscious about these events and these locations. We continually clean it up and we market it all over again. Yes, we're talking about the protocols. Even when you want to fly, you see the protocols you pass through. If we're able to also replicate this in our hotels, our hospitality sector, the tourism locations and all of that, it will make so much. It will give the visitors, the tourists, that confidence that it is cleaned up, that it is safe to go, right? So we have a lot of locations in Nigeria. We need to encourage ourselves to stay back, to look inwards. Now, looking inwards means that there's no capital flight. All of that revenue still stays within. Now, if people do not come to these locations, how do we now raise revenues to maintain these locations? So yes, in the short term, let's say between now and the end of the year, if every state government is conscious about it, we're not asking that the entire 180 million Nigerians come to Cross River, of course not. But if we're able to start that rate, there are big events everywhere. Calabar hosts the carnival. We have NAFES, which is going to Ekiti by God's special grace this year. We have the Gungun Fishing Festival. We need to coordinate all of those events that we all attend, go around and attend those events all together. In the entire cluster, we have enough people to attend the event. So we need that coordination also from the federal ministry. From the federal ministry, sorry to say, I'm commissioner, but we have not had a roundtable with our minister yet. And this is 6 years, 2 years to go. Not for anything, but I mean this, interaction. What is happening in your state? Can we come in? The carnival is the biggest export. I believe it's the biggest export for Nigeria. But what is the federal government involvement in it. It's not just to come and attend the carnival, right? So if we're able to look at things this way, patriotism first of all, clean them up, make it nice, good pictures, we market it all over again, I think we'll be good to go in 2021.
Again, exceptional. I must say, exceptional response coming from you, Nick. But now let me lock you up, because the Nollywood also must be part of this narrative. That is where I think, again, because you have mentioned locations, and I wondered why some of our movies are not helping us to highlight these locations or some of these cultural, as it were, experiences. So, what would you want to say about that?
I am conscious about that already. In Cross River State, I make sure that any movie that is happening, I am involved. I try to give soft landing, if I may use that word. I give free location bus to every movie coming, and I make sure that some of our tourism attractions are being used. You can't do a film in Calabar, the environment. You can't do a movie in Calabar. I will be able to encourage you one or two in Tinapa, in CICC. So besides the story, the message we're passing in the movies, we should encourage ourselves to use our locations, our tourism location, our movies. So I'm conscious about it in Cross River, and I want to encourage my colleagues across the nation to also do same.
Okay, right. I like that again. So we are also using our tourism asset as scenic effect on our movies. But let me move forward again. There is something again about the convergence between technology and the creative industry. How are we going to be looking at that, especially where we are now all over the world? We are looking at contactless. Everybody's like, don't touch this, don't touch that surface. Don't. So how are you going to be promoting tourism assets when people cannot touch or cannot come close to some of the things that you want them to come and admire?
Well, you can't rule out completely the fact that people will have to make contact as regards tourism. No matter how minimal it is, there will at some point be some contact. But of course, on a larger scale, it's being controlled. You can't go to a museum and touch anything. We encourage you can go to the museum, but of course you just can't walk into a museum and and touch. But you can't rule it out. There must be some level of contact, but the same still remains that we need to follow the protocols. This has also made us conscious about our health, right? You have a little headache and you're calling your doctor already, to be sure it's not COVID. You feel a little bit for.
Yes, we would like to apologize for the breaks that is coming from the network. But I think in summary, what we are gaining from this conversation with the Honorable Commissioner for Tourism and Culture in Cross River State. Yes, I think he's back. Yes, do we have you with us?
I'm
Yes, good. So continue, please. Continue your narrative. Okay, right. Okay, so we are prompting ourselves. Okay, so we are looking at contactless regimes across the world, but tourists will see what to come to locations and touch things. But of course, there will be protocols to doing that. Yes. Now, one thing again, I must commend Eric for is the fact that he's also in charge of the state's task force on environmental cleanliness, and we know that there's somewhere we can sell tourism packages when we don't have a clean environment. So perhaps when we come back, we are going to ask him about that, how we're able to manage that, because again, hygiene is very critical to how we can sell ourselves to the world. But I will plead with my producers if we can have our break now, that we are having challenges linking up with Eric there in Abuja. Can we have our breaks now?
We must dilate the eyes, for if they have cataract, look at the back of their eyes, they have glaucoma, to do a full workup for them.
You will remember the giant stripe they will make there. You will remember with nostalgia.
We're going to be looking deeper than we ever looked in before to ensure that we close all the loopholes.
It manifests as physical somewhere. Every edition is an arresting conversation with distinguished Nigerians from various strata of the society, bearing their minds on how we can realize the Nigeria of our dreams. Join us live on Close Flow, Monday every week here on NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Close Flow. The conversation is about you.
Okay, you're still on to Close Flow, and yes, we are still looking at how we're going to be promoting tourism across the country, not just in the beautiful destinations. There are some natural destinations, we agreed. Some destinations are already self-promoting, as it were, because of historical, facts about such destinations. Calabar being one of them, the first capital city of the country Nigeria, therefore is a natural location you like to visit. But again, we also needed to look at how our young ones, the next generation, how are they connecting with tourism. That's something that our guest, the Commissioner for Tourism and Culture in the Cross River State, mentioned earlier on. He's not back yet, okay, but we are still waiting for him to join us on Zoom. We are having a little bit of network challenge there, but as soon as he returns, then he can take up the conversation. I'm just representing him, as it were, trying to feed you guys in. That is all our, viewers. So we'll be looking at that. What are we expecting from our youths? How are they connecting with tourism? How are they connecting with the hospitality business? We know, yes, a number of... Nigeria actually now has become, as it were, the superpower in entertainment across the continent, and maybe in some part of the world. And our youths are actually the chief ambassadors in that sector, in terms of music, in terms of movie making and all that. But we also have other areas in tourism that we need to see what the youths are doing. Incidentally, our guest is just about 40 years old, so he is still technically a youth. So we should be asking him what he thinks that the youth can do. And also he was chairman of the task force in the Cross River State on NSAS, how the NSAS loots some of the things that some people did, wrongfully, but he had to come in to correct, how that's, panned out. Now, let's come back to exactly what we are doing here today on Close Flow. So we are saying to ourselves that, okay, all over the world, tourism now has become maybe not as big as the oil yet, but in some countries far, far bigger than oil and gas. And since Nigeria is now looking at not all sector, ways to generate income for the country, to generate new earnings for the country, I think we should now begin to reposition Nigeria's tourism assets to make sure we attract international patronage. If our guest is not back yet, maybe we can now ask our viewers to join us. If I may have our numbers again, don't forget that we have also our social media handles, so you can actually go in there, table your questions or table your comments, and let's see if we can get Eric to answer some of your queries or your comments. Now on Instagram, it is lower cases, all true. That is, when I say lower cases, I mean small letters. So NTA2 Close Flow. NTA2 Close Flow on Instagram. On Twitter, upper cases, that is capital letters, NTA2 Close Flow on Twitter. And for our phone in, you can call us physically. So we can hear your voice and you can hear our voices, on 080-597-53044, 080-597-53044, or you can send SMS, because sometimes these networks, we have challenges. There will be a break in the conversation, and therefore you are not communicating, and we are also not enjoying your participation or your conversation with us on this show. So SMS, just send the SMS of your questions or your comment or your query or your disagreement to some of the positions that our guests may have advanced here. And the SMS number again is 080-635-08434. 080-635-08434. Let me say that again. SMS 080-635-08434. Let's have your text. If our guest is not back, I will hazard. Okay, I think he's back. He's not back. Okay, so let's have your comment. Let's have so we can send it to him. via WhatsApp or via SMS, and let him see if he can just feed us back, and we can share that with you. Otherwise, I will take up the position of the Commissioner for Tourism and Culture in Cross River State. That is in quotes, so I can answer the questions on your behalf. So we are waiting for you to get back to us. Now, something else that we also need to look at in the new normal is that the whole world will be looking out for reassurances. Yes, the vaccines may be here. Yes, the vaccines may become, a must-have. You have to also have it before you can travel, before you can have all your travel documents, certified. So, but people will still be looking for reassurances. Therefore, we need to actually add to the protocols we are releasing or that we are rolling out to promote tourism across Nigeria, reassurances from all the government in the country. And I think that is what Eric was saying, that we have to generate, or we have to actually activate the political goodwill for other people to want to come into Nigeria. We are not saying that 200 million Nigerians cannot go everywhere actually and fill up the spaces, but we are saying that if the rest of the world must come to see what Nigeria is proud of, then we have to create reassurances for them that they are safe when they come in here, and they're going to be safely looked after so that their health will not be compromised whilst they are inside the country. So we are going to be looking at that if the network will allow us to get our guest back. So we are pleading with the telephone operators, please bring our guest back before we now, otherwise we'll now go to another level of hashtag bring our guest back. Okay, now let's see what else again we need to also look at. We also want to look at the fact that yes, some states in the country are actually poised, as it were, because of certain historical facts, to gain almost immediate entree in terms of saying, okay, look, let's have people coming to Nigeria and visit tourist points in this country. And so those locations should also self-promote, what they have historically, culturally, or otherwise, so that everybody therefore can come and see exactly what we are doing. And if we cannot promote physically, we can also use avenues like NTA to promote such possibilities, so that the whole world or the whole country can be a part of that storyline. Now, another thing that also I wanted to look again with our guests would be to see how art and craft, because that is something that Nigeria is very rich in, how art and craft can actually be part of what Nollywood is doing, so that it becomes another tourism asset for the country. Now, okay, so yes, okay, I think our hashtag bring our guests back has worked. You're welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we have to go and do hashtag bring our guests back. Yeah, so that yes,
I'm back.
Yes, you are back.
Thank you.
Quickly, before I forget again. So, SARS, you were in charge of making sure the loot should get back to the people. How did that go?
Yeah.
Eric.
Okay, that's another wave that hit us hardly. Nobody knew what was going on. Everything happened at the same time. So in Cross River State, about 157 properties were destroyed on that day. And it all happened simultaneously. So for some of us who were out there, to see how we can cut off some areas. And by God's special grace, we were able to save up, like the Marina Resort wasn't tampered with, and mainly other targeted locations. So with this, I was also mandated by His Excellency Senator Professor Benayari, Governor of Cross River, to go around and see how we can mop up, because already cost security agents were out there already trying to get these things out. So people were throwing them out, on the street and all. So we needed to quickly start to mop up, heap it up. The police actually helped, so much in that exercise. But of course, when you bring these things together, people will have to come and identify. So we're able to, recover quite a lot. People have been identified even up until this moment, to collect those items. We've also been able to evaluate the cost of the damage in the state. Federal government agencies, that some of our prominent citizens, residents were also affected. You know, Senator Domaigba's residence was affected. Our serving Senator Ekpo Abasi's residence was also affected, and many more. So, I mean, for me, it's just getting it done. You know, I'm out there to serve, and that's it for me.
Well, Eric, I did say before we got you back that it's like an eye-opener on how we can begin to reposition the participation of youth in tourism development and in some of the economic activities that we have in the country. Don't you agree with that?
I agree with you. You know, we have youths everywhere. You know, and you know, a couple of months back, I think sometime last year or 2 years ago, you know, the whole not too young to run thing came up. And we find out that every youth wants to contest an election. Every youth you see in politics wants to either become a governor or a senator or the president or the reps member or House Assembly member. But there are other areas in government you can actually come in and be very functional and useful to the system. Yes, we're not too young to run, not too young, you know, to participate in the first place. But we need to also spell it out properly. I'm commissioner. We're working in this, you know, in this aspect. We'll encourage other people. Even as a personal assistant to the governor, you can be active. So youth are actually engaged. There is no site, there's no tourism site in Cross River State that doesn't have tour guides, and they're all young people. They stay around those areas. So they are involved. I mean, I think it's just a mindset thing.
Okay, well, again, I love the way you have positioned that, and that can help us to change the mindset of our youth in whatever capacity, in whatever position you find yourself, you can still function and function credibly.
Absolutely.
That is what you're saying there. So I really, appreciate that. I did say to our viewers that you yourself, you're a young person, because you're just nudging 40, and therefore you're still a young person yourself. So we must congratulate you for being for being part of what our youths can do and become. Now, okay, Eric, let's quickly jump the fence, as it were. Now, is Nigeria positioned effectively in terms of the way we have managed our domestic tourism to maybe scale over a country like Kenya? Do you think we have done enough in terms of infrastructure, in terms of capacities, to position our national tourism assets over and beyond many of African countries? Do you think we have done that?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. We have sufficient infrastructure. We have the expertise. You know, we have all of that. But I feel strongly that what would be the service delivery. That's what I feel strongly, because I'm experiencing it back there in
Calabar.
In Cross River State. So service delivery is what we may have to look, you know, cripples on top. But we have infrastructure, we have the manpower, we have the expertise, but we need to improve on our service.
Okay, now, but the expertise that we are talking about, Eric, also, of course, we encapsulate service delivery. So we therefore need to ramp up on that. That's what you're saying there. Now, again, yes, now, but let's come back to something that seems to be germane. And that's the fact that the attitude of Nigerians to actually to serve, that seems to be the root of what we are discussing here. So are we doing anything about that? Are we reorientating our people?
Well, I want to believe that the people around me are already, you know, conforming to it, that you take every little assignment very seriously. I'm that commissioner that doesn't have visiting hours in my office. If I'm in the office, I get to attend to every single person, right? And I actually go around to attend to things personally. You know, movies come to Cross River State, for instance. I find time to go to those locations to encourage the producers and the movie makers. You know. So I mean, well, I'm sure we need to scale this up, to talk more to the young people. You know, because you want to be this, but you do not know the import of taking up such responsibilities, the due processes, administration, and all of that. For me, I learn a lot from the job. So if you don't participate fully, in whatever responsibility you are given, how do you get to learn and improve? So we have a lot of work to do in that regard. I'll try my best. I'm encouraging others to also to do same.
Okay. Thank you very much on that again. Something I need to also borrow your brain from will be the position of the African Union on how we can use cultural expression to change the economic, well, aspirations of Africans. Did you know anything about that policy?
Not exactly, please.
Okay, but we are looking at the fact that there should be some kind of trade relationships, cross-cultural, trade relationship between African countries. So let's say subcontinentally, would you be able to position Cross River State, for instance, now to become the destination, tourism destination in Nigeria across?
Yes, we already are. Besides our carnival, we have lineup of events during the festival. We have the international carnival that has over 30 countries. On the whole, Calabar is known as the desired tourism destination, and then we hope to stay on top on this.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's very reassuring. Now, very quickly, I would like to. Yes, okay. Hello.
I'm with you.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Hello. Okay. You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
May we have your name and where you're calling from, please?
The show and the Honorable Commissioner.
Yes, okay. What's your name, please?
I want to ask. Hello?
What's your name, please?
I'm Said, calling from the other side.
Said, okay. Honorable Commissioner, we have Said online. Go ahead with your question, please.
Yes, sir. What's for the Calabar 2021? Is everybody going to participate online for 2020?
Honorable Commissioner?
What's the question?
It says Carnival 2021, will everybody participate?
If everyone would participate?
Yes.
Okay, already apologies that we called off last year's carnival because of the pandemic, right?
Yes.
And then, there are a lot of protocols on ground. So we've started these discussions to see how we can bring everybody to Calabar 2021. So we are hoping that things will get better, right, for us to host the nation in Calabar in 2021. So let's stay positive on that, please.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sure our viewers heard that. So let's stay positive on 2021. Even if you're not going to have a mass audience present there in Calabar, there will be a way to make sure that audience across the country will be part of that experience.
Will be part of it, yes.
Yes. Now let's now see something again that you have said, and which I mentioned, post or pre when you were not here, and that's about our arts and crafts. How are we, burying that into this tourism experiences that we are promoting?
Okay, in December, because everybody just felt that, look, since there's no carnival in Calabar, there's nothing going to happen. And we're able to prove them wrong on that. Because in the entire period in December, from the 1st of December to the 1st of January 2021, we had set up a proper arts and crafts village where every local government, every of the 18 local governments in Cross River State brought out their artworks, their craft and all of that. We also had a lot of experiences. Now, yes, we were observing the protocols of COVID-19. So the space we had was just for about 400 people. So we're able to process 400 people every single day, in that location at the cultural center, where every single day we had different events, gyrations. We had a mini carnival where, people came and had their feathers, took pictures, just got into the group. So we're conscious about our arts and our craft products. I'm also of the opinion that we should have enough memorabilia where you travel to any place in Nigeria and you get to buy a memorabilia. You don't necessarily need to say, I traveled to Calabar. I want to see a memorabilia from Calabar, be it the miniature monolith, be it the carnival reveler, with the headgear and all of that. You should know that one actually went to such locations. So those are the things we're encouraging. We're working on it seriously, and we want to assure that by the end of the year, when you come for our carnival, you should be able to have a lot of memorabilia to take home.
Now, now that you have thrown the doors open, where would NTA to Lagos Network Center, be positioned in making sure that we have our own takeaway, our own memorabilia, from you?
I have a big hamper for you.
Now, you have said it publicly, Eric. I'm going to hold you to that. Okay. Now let's
hold me to it.
Yes. Now let's bridge this now very quickly. I don't know if we have any viewers who have sent in questions on SMS, my producers, so we can read them out to Eric so that he can answer. Okay, we really, because of the network, the break in the networks, we have not been able to do that. Now, Eric, there is something else that I also would like us to see if it is safe for us to identify as a tourism asset, and that's our religious lifestyle. Do you think we can create a tourism asset from that? We really have to maybe create an hashtag for our telecom providers. We'll still have a little more time to see if some of our viewers can join us.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, Eric, go ahead, please.
Do you have me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'll just quickly go on this here. Brotherhood of the Cross and Star has its world headquarters in Calabar, and every week, every month, we see a lot of people coming around the country, outside the country, for that purpose. So we've been able to sustain that as a state, and of course, like in Ata, Redeem Camp and all of that, so yes, we need to encourage religious tourism. For instance, once I'm in church on Sunday, I try to do short videos, to send out and all of that. So that is what we're encouraging there. We encourage rather, and we're practicing.
Okay, because what I've said that is that we can also side by side our cultural, heritages. We can also position that. So when visitors come, we can have a right mix of the public, in all this that we are doing. Now, what is your plan for the future, therefore? We know what we have for 2021, but can we give us, as it were, like a forward planner for the next couple of years on where you think our tourism industry should be?
Well, with our short-term plan of 2021, once we are successful with it, I want to believe that it will just kick in the coming years. If you're not successful with it this year, then you now need to go back to the drawing board to want to think or see where you went wrong and all of that. So if we're able to achieve the short-term plan of being patriotic, cleaning up and remarketing, encouraging even the young ones, and all of that, then the coming years will just kick in naturally. You will see influx of people coming into your state, coming into the country. So the short-term plan is that, and then the long-term plan will be the success of the short-term plan.
All right, so your last word to Nigerians before we close the window, because the network is just not giving us space. Yes. Okay, so my producer says we still have some time. So can we have your own opinion on where this industry should actually be? Right now, all over the world, we are saying not all sectors, we should be looking at other areas to develop. So do you think tourism can actually become number one in Nigeria, for instance?
Yes, it can. Yes, they can. With the elements on ground, with the movie, the movies industry, at some point here we're the third largest, biggest movie industry in the world.
Yes.
That's what those are the areas where the eras where we were turning out movies every day, every week, every month. But now we are having very quality movies screening everywhere. There's no festival in the world, wherever it's happening, that we do not screen movies produced shot in locations in Nigeria. So with all of these elements, yes, we can still stay on top, and push the tourism agenda as mainstay in Nigeria. Why not?
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Now, but some people are already ascribing that Nigeria has become the imperial power, as it were, on the continent in terms of entertainment, and that seems to be nudging some people to be wary of Nigerians in their country. Are you a little bit disturbed about that?
I'm not disturbed. That's how we're wired. That's how we're wired. I mean, you're a Nigerian. You just must make a mark anywhere you go to. our movie industry gave birth to the industry in Ghana.
Yes.
You know, anywhere you go, Nigerian, because they know the potentials. You know, every Nigerian carries. You know, so that's how we're wired. I mean, I'm not bothered.
Okay, but in the reverse, so why are we not seeing the way we are wired in the way we politically express ourselves?
Mindset. Mindset. Mindset, yeah. Our judiciary system has to be strengthened so that we can start going after those that just walk through the corridors of power and think they can go scot-free with whatever they can do. You know, so we need to start to take governance seriously. That's all. If we're able to push corruption out of the system, everything will just set in properly. So I think it starts with all the young people, because we have a mindset already that there's so much money in the Senate or in the reps or in the House of Assembly. You understand? But so we don't put service, before anything. So we put money what we can get, back. So it's a mindset thing. And I want to believe that if we continually talk about it, we'll get people away from that mindset and have very quality young people. It is always not about the number of schools you have attended or your certificate. It has to do with your personality. It has to do with your personality, the mindset. So we need more people that can actually go into government and do the right thing and get out.
Okay, Honorable Commissioner, we must bring back the fact that you are also a parent. And so as a father of two twins, at least we have a monument there in the Cross River where we celebrate twins. So what is parenting like for you? Parenting.
Oh, I've been through it for 18 years. So it's already part of me. And it also helps me in my daily work. I'm out there with the knowledge that I have a family I need to go back to. I also have to keep a good name for them to continue with. So, it's been able to help me. They've also been, a source of inspiration, of course, with my wife, back to me. So it's been part of me for 18 years. So, and I thank God.
All right, and so what are we handing over to the next generation, especially to your children? Are you asking them to go and see what Nollywood is all about, or are they going to be locked into tourism? Since that's your 40 now. So how would you?
Well, growing up in the house, you should know where any child is tilting to, and you encourage. So it's not all about wanting to be a lawyer or a doctor, as the case may be. So if any child is tilting towards that direction, why won't we encourage, Yes.
Okay, all right. Again, finally, my producer says, okay, you must give us at least a solution. You must give us a solution. How are we going to use tourism to make sure that we boost, economic activities across the country and make sure that we actually earn more money?
Well, once you have it up and running properly, that's revenue already, naturally. And for tourism to work, it is participation. So people must participate, locally, community-based, get people around the country, outside the country. So it still takes us back to the plan I have been able to share, that we need to clean up, encourage, and give the tourists that confidence that the place is safe, hygienic for them to, stop by. So if we have all of this in place, we'll have more traffic, and we have more traffic. That's it that will boost the economic activities in the sector.
Honorable Commissioner for Tourism and Culture, Cross River State, has been a pleasure having you on this show today. And I'm sure the whole of this country actually appreciated your presence in spite of the hiccups from from the telephone providers. So thank you so much for being part of our show.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And Eric, don't forget that you are going to send us an invitation to come to Calabar for 2021, yes?
Cross my heart.
All right, it's crossed from a distance.
Yes, you will come.
All right, okay, so that is Close Flow for you today. I want to thank all of you for being part of it. Don't forget the conversation is never ending. So go to our YouTube page. Go and follow it up and see if you can share with your friends so you can get, ingrained into what Eric, our Honorable Commissioner shared with us there. And also don't forget all our social media handles. Let's have your comments. Let's have your questions. I'm sure for some reason, because of the because of the breaks, in the telephone service, we couldn't get many of you to join us. But we'd like to apologize again for that. Hopefully, we'll work on it. We'll go to hashtag it. Let our viewers get to us, on NTA2, so that all of you can be part of the conversation. Until next edition of the show, we are just saying a beautiful thank you to you from the entire team, and hoping to see you next week. Bye for now.